Black American women have a really bad reputation in the relationship and dating market. Stereotypes say that we're hypermasculine, that we have bad attitudes, that we can't get along with men, that we don't need a man, and so on. And honestly, many of you guys who are either in relationships with Black women or have dated Black women in the past can attest to the fact that some of us have just really stank attitudes. Now, of course, we know this is not every Black American woman, and there are plenty out there who are currently today enjoying healthy and thriving relationships. But we also have to be honest about the many Black women out there who unfortunately do fall into that category. But another thing that I've also heard is that while Black women might be aggressive or might have attitudes that can come off of hypermasculine and particularly have a hard time getting along with Black men, they tend to be more feminine when a white man comes in the room. I've heard this a lot from some of y'all. And so I posed a question and I asked whether or not Black women find it easier to submit to white men instead of Black men. And that's what we're going to go over today. I want to look at some of your guys' response and then we'll break it down. Looking at the tweet, it says Black women find it easier to submit to white men instead of Black men. True or false? So let's look at some of the most popular tweets first. This one over here, it says, unfortunately, Black men find the same level of ease with submitting to white men. Okay, so she just went in shots fired. This is honestly something I do notice about the lovely ladies is as soon as something is said or we are shown in an unfavorable light, our immediate response is to say, well, Black men do it too. So notice in this response, she did not question or she did not push back or even deny the statement. She just went on to deflect about what Black men are doing. And the focus here wasn't what Black men are doing. The focus here was Black women. But anyways, that's besides the point. Looks like she had a lot of feedback. This one says, shout out to Malarkey, says, I think a woman like this has a vested interest in the oppression of Black men as it saves her the trouble of answering an inconvenient question. That's literally what I said. I was like, the focus here was not Black men. It was what Black women are doing and what that means. It says she carefully deflects from the question by baiting Black men into an argument that attacks their egos and self-respect. Shout out to Malarkey, a loyal follower for quite some time now, and I can't even disagree. Like, there are some crazy things that Black men do, and there are some self-hating Black men out there, but that was not the focus of this particular tweet. The focus of this tweet is women's behavior, what we are doing and what we are not doing. That was it. So yeah, I spot on there. So this one says, it's unfortunate that you feel that way. If pointing out that Black men need to stand up and refrain from being submissive to white men makes me Nazi, then deem me as the further. I'll take that women like you are handing out participation awards to Black men instead of emboldening them to rise up. Crazy. So her pushback, Takara's pushback is that, nah, like we need to empower men to rise up, not sit there and cater to them. Now Malarkey's not having it. Says, look, but she tells herself as well as answering the question at hand by indirectly stating that the Black American women are at ease submitting to white men. Next time, answer the question and leave the brothers alone. She's like, I'm pretty sure I did answer that question. It's in the thread. So this one right here, I want to read. It says, unfortunately, it's not just the coons. No other group of men are this dependent on white men for everything. In large, Black men won't even establish anything to use as leverage to elevate our people. White men sleep peacefully at night, knowing that regardless of what they do, Black women will be loyal subjects. And so, anyways, y'all going back and forth. This is a classic pushback that I hear from Black women. We heard this from Chrissy, the video I did a few weeks ago where she was talking about Black men have not built anything. This is why Black women should not be mad at white women for voting for Trump. They need to be mad at Black men for not building a better system. Classic pushback. So shout out to Takara for basically representing the sisterhood on this one, really. The challenge that I have with this is basically if you are calling for nationalism, if you're pushing for Black nationalism, which is essentially what you are doing, the building of a nation, that you can't do that. You can't want Black men to build a nation or quote unquote a Wakanda while at the same time submitting to a nation or submitting to authority that is going to be antithetical to that goal. Because if you believe that black women are just going to go away and just build this whole system while black women are sitting there comfortably, submitting to white people, submitting to white men, submitting to white systems, submitting to white authority, and then as soon as Wakanda is built, ready to go, black women are just going to leave and then all of a sudden submit to black men, like, it doesn't work like that. That is not reality. It actually requires a collaborating. And the thing about it is, when the emphasis is put and when the entire pressure is put on black men to build, fine, I do think black men would have to be responsible in leading that charge. That does not excuse black women from the part that they play in that process. And I think what happens is we'll have these conversations and we're conveniently looking for excuses to not take responsibility for the things that we're doing. We want to push all the blame and say, well, basically we have to do this because black men aren't doing anything. Okay, but that basically removes the responsibility that we may have as black women to do that. Because my thing is like, okay, if you're so concerned about this, are you involved in are you involved in Pan-African spaces? Are you connected with men who are building establishments, who are building businesses, who are building industries, who are doing things internationally? Are you connected with that? Because best believe they do exist. They may not have the notoriety. They may not have as much funding. They're doing things grassroots. And so it's not going to be featured maybe on Forbes under 40 or Forbes 30 under 30. Like, it's not going to be in the headlines, but it is out there and it's happening every single day. But if you're not in those spaces and if you're not collaborating with those men, and the way that you can, whether it's helping to volunteer, whether it's helping to, whether it's just providing a safe space for them to land, whether it's just believing in them, encouraging them, like if you're not doing your part as a woman to those men who have that mindset and are doing their part to try to look ahead, then to me, it starts to sound like a convenient excuse. And I think that's why Malarkey wasn't having it. Malarkey was like, nah, this is just answer the question next time and don't throw black men under the bus. Because really, at the end of the day, if there is a desire to want to build a nation, then that's going to require the efforts of black men and black women. I'm not saying that they have to all do the same thing, but that means they have to share the same mindset. And if black women really want to enjoy the spoils of the white community and of the white system and society, that's fine. But then just do that. Don't do that and then try to blame black men. Just acknowledge that you really like the current system you're in and you don't want anything from black men, right? Like, don't justify your desire for acceptance within white society by trying to blame black men. That's where I think it gets really catchy. But now, at least she did actually acknowledge us as a Sahel Alliance, because I'm like, that's just not true at all. Like, it's just a blatant lie. They are prime examples of brothers who are doing literally what black women say that they want to be done. But that requires some sacrifice and some changes. So anyway, so I thought that was an interesting comment. Let's move on to some of the next things. Another popular comment: I don't think they submit, but they're deaf. So this one says, I don't think they submit, but they're definitely more feminine. And so now that's an interesting one. I asked, okay, how do you define more feminine? And my question would be, I wonder why. If the idea is they're more feminine, is it coming from a place of respect, or is it coming from a place of fear of this person literally has power over me institutionally? We understand in the social hierarchy that white men rank higher, and if that demands a level of respect. So I'm wondering if that's what he's talking about, because I do think black women like to say that they're most oppressed, under the Duluth model and all that, and intersectionality. Even if they say that, I think subconsciously black women know that at the end of the day, they have some power or some institutional authority over black men, whether it be the educational realm, family courts, intimate partner violence, the propaganda around that, and just criminal justice in general. Even if they don't say it, I think black women in their subconscious know that they have some institutional leverage over black men, even if they don't necessarily admit it. And so that might be a reason why some just don't respect them, because they feel like we have this upper hand over you. Whereas white men, again, consciously or subconsciously, black women know that there's a social hierarchy and that where they rank. And so I wonder if that has something to do with it. So anyways, those are just some thoughts. There's more here. I didn't want to get too deep. If you guys want to check out the rest of the feedback, you can go and check out the tweet. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What do y'all think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.
I'm really excited to announce my new kids book, Aisha Learns to Love Her Hair. Aisha's hair is stunning, but she struggles to see its beauty. Through encouragement and wisdom from Grandma Lily, Aisha learns powerful lessons about self-acceptance. Aisha's journey is a heartwarming tale of family, culture, and confidence. Share her magical journey with your little loved one today, available for purchase.